This week, Counter-Strike 2 springs a pincer maneuver, Ubisoft goes full Skynet, and Sony continues their fight against the evil Microsoft, and much more. Because this is the NerdCave News, and I am one of your hosts, Zach Dykes, joined along with, he comes from the planet Trelax. Does he come in peace? Only time will tell if he is a visitor or an invader. At 7 foot tall, 3 eyes, 4 arms, and blue scaly skin, it's Drictex, the Trelaxian bearing arms and treats. Want some yambu bread? It's a Trelaxian fruit.
A Traxian. You know what? I like that. I like that little end of the day. Little funny line is like, want some yambo bread? So, for those of you who are new to the show,
Derek,
we've been doing names for about a year now.
Mm-hmm.
Probably about what? No, have we done it since? Was it just last year? Or was it since we started back?
It was a few episodes in before we started the naming.
Got you. Well, 2 years later, roughly 2 years later, and we're going to finally rank those names. So that way we can look back at the glorious list and then see where all these rank and see how creative everyone was. So,
Amy's creativity?
Yeah. Amy's contribution has been 100% so far. So, Drictech, the Trelaxian.
Where does it rank, Derek? Where does it rank?
While I do like the ending to it, I think it's got to go. Hold on. Drink the Trelaxian. I think it's got to go below number 4, Ligurian God of the Seas. So it's the new number 5.
New number 5. Okay.
Let me see. And my only reason, just because, I don't think it's better than number 3, Jingo Huth.
Yeah.
And Ligurian God of the Seas just flows better.
Yeah.
Like I said, exposition is the cherry on top to the name. But
True.
the name's got to stick the landing,
Mm-hmm.
And the name just like Drictech the description of me like 7 foot tall, 3 eyes, 4 arms, and blue scaly skin is great. But then it's like Drictech. I'm like, I don't know. That sounds like more like a guy that lives in the mountains, like this, just like tinkering away on stuff that everyone shuns or doesn't want to acknowledge. You know what I mean? So
it's like real life.
First of all, I don't live in the mountains. Now, do I live shunned away from the world? Yes, but I don't live in the mountains, sir.
Amy says, you guys submit some names. I like a challenge. I
mean, she right now she's batting 1,000, so you guys got to bring the heat.
Yeah. So if y'all want your name to, top the list and be, at the end of the year, we're going to say, okay, this is number 1. And we might if there's enough people that submit names, we might even have to do like a grand prize, hey, this person had this many names. They got the top, 25 or the top 10. And, would it be easier?
If you want to dethrone Amy,
bring the heat, bring the thunder, she says.
Yeah. That was a good Jack Black impression. Get ready to feel the thunder.
Thank you. Guys, this episode is brought to you by the Epic Game Store and our wonderful patrons. But more about that later because Dirt Tech, the Trelaxian, whatever. Dirt Tech. It's time for the gaming discussion. First off, it's been forever.
Yes.
It's been forever since 2012 since we got a new Counter-Strike.
It feels longer than that, but
Yes. Counter-Strike 2 is real and it is out this summer.
I think that's the bigger news story is the fact that it's like they're pulling a Fallout 4 and it's out soon. An official release date was not revealed, but Valve says Counter-Strike 2 will be a free upgrade to anyone who owns Counter-Strike Global Offensive. That's even huge. That's even more huge. Plus, if you do own Counter-Strike Global Offensive, you can jump into a limited test for Counter-Strike 2 starting today or yesterday when this article came out. During this testing period, Valve says it will be, quote, evaluating a subset of features to shake out any issues before the worldwide release. The company also says Counter-Strike 2 is the largest technical leap forward in Counter-Strike's history, ensuring new features and updates for years to come. Counter-Strike 2 will run in the Source 2 engine, which has tools and rendering features available for community map makers to make it easier to build, experiment, and iterate. There will be a Source 2 item workshop as well, and it will be available at a later time during the Counter-Strike 2 limited test. Here are some quick hit highlights players can expect in Counter-Strike 2. Upgraded and overhauled maps, game-changing dynamic smoke grenades, tick rate independent gameplay, redesigned visual effects and audio. All of a player's CS:GO items can be transferred with them to CS2. So, you know, CS:GO has taken the world by storm. Has been a pretty much dominant force for several years. It's kind of tailored off, or at least not as talked about in recent years.
Yeah.
But the fact that they're just like, hey, we've been silently working stealthily in the shadows on CS2. And it's out this summer, and you can do a technical test now. And it's like, holy cow, y'all have been hot and heavy. This is how you do a game release. All I'm saying, especially a multiplayer game release.
Yeah, like take note, every developer ever, especially in this time and place. And it's like, okay, Counter-Strike 2's not an open world. It's not a battle royale. It's not a live service.
Maybe.
Any of those things, like it's sticking close to its roots from what we see so far.
Yeah.
And I love that you're going to be able to transfer your items from CS:GO to CS2, which is great because like the CS:GO community is all about them skins and like, that was a whole gambling economy for a long time. I don't know if it's as strong as it was, but to be able to be like, okay, it's real. You can try it out now, and it's coming in summer.
Yeah,
that like literally, I think that trumps Fallout 4 like announcement.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because
it's while Fallout's a very beloved RPG, it wasn't without its flaws. Or they're trying to iron out the bugs now and have a smooth launch. Now servers will still be down for most of the day, but that's to be expected now with a multiplayer game. No one should they be ready? Yes, but no one's ready for the amount of server overhaul that they need on a multiplayer game release. But with it being summer, do you think there will be around an E3 or Summer Games Fest release?
I think if they play it right, they could definitely do. I feel like Summer Games Fest is the bigger of the two at this point.
Yeah.
But E3 being open to the public and everything, I could definitely see them like, okay, we're going to be at E3 2023, and we are going to, have, booths set up and everything where you can come and play. And then the following week, we're going to launch the game.
Yeah. The only thing I question is like if it is June, because June's already pretty. Because I forget what else is coming out, but it's like the two heavy hitters are Diablo 4 and Final Fantasy 16. Now, granted, each of them have their different, fan bases that they're going to hit. But it's like, do you want to launch in the middle of those two? Now, they probably have the clout. They'll definitely have the clout to outdo Final Fantasy 16, but it's like if all the early tests that I've heard and the early playthroughs of Diablo 4 are true and the game is great, it could go toe to toe, with Diablo 4.
Yeah, I feel like CS:GO and Diablo 4, like there are like kind of a mix of gamers in both places and everything. I feel like they're different enough where like there's this hardcore fan base of CS:GO players that I think it would do fine with it. Could they put it in July? Yeah. They could also, August. I think the summer is a great time though.
Yeah, for sure. Because ever since now, granted, coming next year, maybe 2025, NCAA's back. But for years it was NCAA dominated the summer,
Hmm.
and now that it's been gone, it's left this massive void. Like every once in a while, we'll get a good summer game, but
Yeah.
it's ripe for the picking.
Yeah.
Now what I could see if they do release it in like July or August, I could see them doing like right now they're just doing a technical test. We don't know how open it is
Yeah.
to the public. I could see them doing an open beta around the time of E3 or Summer
Hmm.
Games Fest.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I just looked up the current like Steam charts and everything. In the
yeah.
last 30 days, average player count is 823,554. Peak players is over 1 million, like almost a 1.5 million peak players, and that's a 2.29% gain over the last month.
Wow.
But yeah, like peak players are over 1 million for the last 3 months. So like this game, like still like CS:GO, is still very large and still got an amazing player base and everything. And then unlike Halo, they know how to keep their player base.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? Unlike
Just
Halo, they know how to
saying,
keep the player base. So
but just to hit on two more things, it's like the fact that because map, I know Doom tried to bring it back, but map editors have been a thing. It almost feels like a thing of the past,
mhm.
and not a lot of people, it seems like they want to use them anymore, but they're bringing it back hot and heavy, like Item Workshop, like easy, and it's going to
Yeah.
make it easy, like their tools is going to be easier to build, experiment, and iterate. So hopefully this is like brings a comeback to like map editors in games. And also Valve's been, I forget that Valve, worked on this, but they did say a few years ago, we coming back hot and heavy with the game, with making games, guys. And it's like, so far, they making that promise.
True, but like to your point of map editors and everything,
Yeah.
I think with this is Doom is a big franchise and everything, but is not known for like its multiplayer side of things. Like this is literally that's all it's known for is multiplayer and everything. And
Yeah.
when Forge launched for Infinite, like it was a breath of fresh air. It wasn't like the thing that was going to save it or anything, but and there are communities that thrive off of that creativity. And I think CS:GO, like I'm glad to see that that's in there. So I'm excited. Brandon seems excited. He says, "Let's go, let's go." So I'm down for it. I'm down for it. Yeah.
So
let's do it.
I'm about to say, I've never been a big fan of it because I don't have a PC to play it, but good on for the fan base that's been loyal to it for years.
Yeah, I've never played it.
Me either. So.
But hey, I'm happy for people when a game does well and it goes well. I'm happy for people.
Yeah.
Speaking of people that can't do that, let's move into
Speaking on the opposite.
Let's talk about some Ubisoft news. Ubisoft reveals an internally developed AI ghostwriter designed to save narrative teams time. I think they stole this from James Patterson. I think this has been James Patterson's ghostwriter for the last few years.
Or Drake's, Unveiling an AI innovation called Ghostwriter, Ubisoft has presented a groundbreaking tool created in-house to revolutionize script writing. By tackling the mundane yet time-consuming aspects such as barks and NPC lines, this technology was designed with scriptwriters' efficiency in mind. Barks, for the uninitiated, are short phrases uttered by non-NPCs at certain times. For example, grenade, watch out, or enemy spotted. They can also be one to two lines heard when walking past an NPC in an open world game. Masterfully executed barks have the ability to draw you deeper into a video game's virtual reality. In a video revealing the tool, Ubisoft describes that it will be used to generate a, quote, first draft of the lines that'll actually make it into the game, at which point a member of the narrative team will go through to edit and curate the generated suggestions to lines that'll actually appear in a final product. And we have a short video if you want to play that first, and then we'll give our thoughts on it.
Yep. Give me a second. Give me a second.
It's been a second.
Give me 2 more seconds. All right, here we go.
All right.
The chatter of crowds and triggered NPC lines, known as barks, are essential to player immersion.
Mercenaries patrolling the street. Get the f over here.
And behind every line of speech is a narrative team that writes it. Ghostwriter is an in-house AI tool created by Ubisoft La Forge. It helps narrative designers and scriptwriters generate a first draft of these barks. Scriptwriters first create a character and a variable input, an event or situation.
Like, when will that go away? You know what I mean? It's like...
Ghostwriter can then generate new versions of the line depending on the mode selected. These modes vary in style depending on the needs of the scriptwriter. The scriptwriter selects the lines to keep and edits them freely until they're ready for voice recording. When scriptwriters accept or regenerate line options, the machine learning model learns from each selection, effectively creating a more accurate tool with use. Ghostwriter was created hand-in-hand with narrative teams to help them complete a repetitive task more quickly and effectively, giving them more time and creative freedom.
I know. This is how the robots win.
And cutscenes.
I missed you, brother.
And ensuring players encounter NPCs that are interesting, consistent, and just chatty enough.
Why is it showing jobs?
I don't. You know, it's ironic. It's like, show jobs. It's like, we're literally creating this tool to take your job. So my initial thoughts are like, I get where they're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, all right, it's the mundane, it's like the, you know, the minutia stuff, and they're just wanting to help, you know, save up those couple minutes that you have to do all the coding for and all the input. I get it. And we also know that Ubisoft is all about being the first to tech, and like, if they have this new innovative technology that they found, it's like, all right, we're gonna be the first to adopt it and like put it in our stuff, and then after about a few games, when no one likes it, we're gonna take it out. But then you also have the other side of the coin. And, you know, it's like, okay, you know what? I kind of understand that. Then you have Alana Pierce coming in with the heat. And it's like, or y'all could just take that money and just hire more writers. And I'm like, yeah, the point.
True. But you think about it, like, Ubisoft is, like you said, all about the tech and everything. They also don't want to put more money into like personnel. Like this is something that's been going on for a while. They've lost personnel because of bad decisions, bad management, bad leadership, and they have not hired anyone to take those places. And that's been going on for months. So like, yes, it is using AI. I use AI almost every day at work. And we use it on the show as well. For, you know, articles and all of that to break them down, make it a little bit more digestible and everything. But it's like AI does not replace a person. And like, yes, the writers are, you know, going through these things and accepting whatever and all of that kind of stuff. I don't think it is like the end all be all, but I do think for barks, as they're talking about here, like I don't think that's that bad of a thing to use. But like, I don't think it needs to get rid of real writers. Like you can't just let the computer do it for you, because as Derek, you found out, Jasper's good, but Jasper can also make some junk up at the same time.
Exactly. And it's like I see some of the edits and it's like, this doesn't feel like this. You're trying to write for like old English, and it's like, no, just keep it modern, please.
Case in point, I literally told Jasper, I was like, write a YouTube description talking about these things, and it was Counter-Strike 2 coming out, Ubisoft using AI to write, and then our next topic, which we'll get into, and it was like, Ubisoft has announced Counter-Strike 2, and I'm like, no, the Counter-Strike 2 is not a Ubisoft game, and they are not using AI to write Counter-Strike 2. I was like, you dummy.
Exactly. Case in point. But it's, you know, it's also of the fact that Well, and it's like you talking about like you see all they were memes and they were funny things, but I'm sure people did it. It's like, oh, I had a bot watch 1,000 hours of
Mhm.
Law and Order and told him to write a script, and it's like you
Yeah.
read the description and it's like it's terrible,
Yeah.
And so it's like we're not there where AI is that smart to like think, have a thinking person's brain enough. They just really copy paste. It's sort of like back in the day when it's like you can copy my work but don't make it look the same, and it's like you just hit italics.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Let's check with chat real quick. They people popping up about some AI. Murdoch
Yeah.
says, y'all, AI is becoming more due to the fact that universities are pumping out AI degrees instead of normal IT stuff. And there's so much needed for AI due to the amount of IT work in the world that is needed. IT people need the help to organize and resolve issues.
Mm-hmm.
Amy says, yeah, AI can't replace people. You have to manage and treat employees well. And I 100% agree. And Murdoch also follows up. They want AI to help less people do more work. And that is 100% a lot of people's like views on all of this.
Yeah.
AI can be a tool that can help you do what like took you longer and less time. So you are more productive. Like, but it doesn't need to be a replacement of like, oh, well, it took you less time so you can do more work. It's like, okay, well, we can refine this. We can make this even better than what we've had beforehand. That's the thought process, and that needs to be there, but that's not the process in the real world.
You have the other side of the spectrum where it's like, now granted, you can have your thoughts on this company all you want to, but I'm just throwing this out. I'm just using this example. It's like when McDonald's workers demanded that they get paid $15 an hour, and McDonald's response was, "We'll just have auto menus, so that way, we don't need as many of you at the desk as possible. We can just have people go ahead and put in their orders in and just wait for their food."
Dude, I don't know if you've seen it. There is a fully automated, no employee McDonald's in Colorado now. Like it is.
Oh, I didn't know that. I knew about the Taco Bell.
Yeah, it is completely automated and everything. They like opened it up this week. It is crazy.
Wow.
I seen some pictures. I was just like, all right, yep, Skynet's coming online. Y'all are like continually rushing headlong. It's like, did y'all not see that Arnold Schwarzenegger movie? I sure did. Judgment Day is like good movie. I don't want it to actually happen. So we'll see. We'll see how Ubisoft handles this. But let's continue on into our Ubisoft vein. Assassin's Creed codename Red will reportedly feature samurai and shinobi as playable characters.
Kagebun no Jutsu. A new report on Insider Gaming has claimed that the upcoming Assassin's Creed codename Red will feature a samurai and shinobi character. The teaser trailer previously released by Ubisoft apparently depicts the female samurai, while the shinobi character is believed to be an African refugee who has trained in the way of the Creed. Insider Gaming notes that the game is currently in, quote, good shape and has a large focus on stealth, which should please fans who weren't taken with the more action-focused Assassin's Creed games. According to the report, developer Ubisoft Quebec has adopted a style similar to Splinter Cell and Hitman, where players can hide bodies, take cover in tall grass, and eliminating light sources so your shadows are not spotted by enemies. So, what do you think about? Now, granted, yes, they are going full stealth, and we know with Mirage, they're going back to like the core of what made Assassin's Creed, enjoyable, why people fell in love with it, that kind of thing. They're going back to their roots. What do you think about this style of game? Like, if it all turns out to be true, like especially like with the hiding bodies and all that, because I know you could hide bodies in hay bales so you don't get spotted. Like, especially for those missions that you can desync if certain conditions weren't met. But it seems like it's taking it to the utmost extreme. Because at first I'm just like, oh, so this is just Ghost of Tsushima. You know what I mean?
True. It can. I hope that there's a balance that needs to definitely be brought here. Like, I love Splinter Cell. It is one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
And I do enjoy Hitman, but it's kind of annoying, like having to hide a body, like because when you kill a lot, there's a lot of bodies to hide.
Yep.
In the game, and it's just like you can only fit so many in a closet.
Yeah,
so like I do like that there are more things here to make it, more stealthy and everything. I just hope it doesn't get to the degree where it's like the first Splinter Cell was so difficult to play because of these things. Once you got further in the series, it's like, you could eliminate lighting and all of that kind of deal, but it didn't feel like it was like this cumbersome beast that you constantly like had to think about and you couldn't enjoy. So I hope that there's like a scale kind of deal. Those inconvenient bodies. Exactly.
They just can't disappear.
Yeah. And, all you need is some tall grass, all you need is some tall grass, Derek. Is all, unless you're playing Plague Tale Requiem and then people like start wading into the grass to find you, or you accidentally catch the grass on fire and then it goes away. And it's just like,
what was the point of this?
But I'm enjoying it. It's a good game. Requiem. Probably.
I need to play it at some point.
Probably better than this Assassin's Creed game is going to be. I'm just calling it.
We'll see how Mirage does, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah. You can support us by going over and using the creator code NerdCave at checkout in the Epic Game Store. Even on free games, it helps us out. You can get Hogwarts Legacy, V-Bucks, and those awesome Sony games with your creator code, and you can be epic. All of it helps us, and it doesn't cost you a dime.
Yeah. Last of Us Part 1 on PC comes out in 5 days. So
boom.
Use that creator code.
Yeah. Get you Returnal, get you The Last of Us, get you Spider-Man. Is Miles Morales out?
Yes, it came this past fall to PC.
There you go. You can get caught up for Spider-Man. Now, do you have that in here? Are we talking about that? Yeah.
Yes, we are.
Okay. Just making
sure.
Well,
I'll say just as like in the quickies.
Yeah, but, Well, we'll talk about it though. We'll talk about it. Guys, we're jumping into some PlayStation news because the saga does not end here.
Lord have mercy.
When
I put that in the doc last week, I'm like, okay, I can hopefully they'll be done with hopefully they'll be on the north side of this when I come back. Nope. Microsoft and Sony still going at it.
Yeah, I was like, maybe this will be the last time we have to report on this, but my God, it just keeps going.
It's about to be on the no talk list.
Yeah, which I don't think you have the Redfall stuff that came out in the last day in here. Do you?
You're talking about like? No, I have it in the quickies.
Oh, okay.
Well, I think we'll get to there.
Okay. So anyway, the Sony versus Microsoft showdown continues. Sony says Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6 weren't Xbox exclusives before Microsoft's purchase. Bethesda argues the same will happen with Call of Duty and Activision's Blizzard purchase.
Despite the CMA's findings from 6 different studios, which concluded that they are in favor of Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard, or remain unconvinced that it will have a negative influence, Sony did submit a response to the CMA. Sony vociferously opposed the acquisition in their response, enumerating an extended list of reasons why they were against it. Additionally, Sony proclaimed that both Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6 were not meant to be exclusive for Xbox prior to Microsoft's purchase of Bethesda through ZeniMax. It used both titles as an example to argue that Microsoft would do the same with Call of Duty, despite it consistently saying that it won't do that, and that it would make, quote, zero business sense for Microsoft to make Call of Duty exclusive. Sony also argued in its response to the CMA following the CMA's provisional findings that Microsoft would have the ability to foreclose by withholding Call of Duty. It continued to say that because of the importance of Call of Duty, Microsoft would be able to withhold it from Sony, which would lead to PlayStation foreclosing. That a lack of Call of Duty could shut down PlayStation feels like a stretch, though it can't be denied that Call of Duty is currently very important to Sony's revenue stream each year. So important, in fact, that Sony lists that Call of Duty has been the top-selling game on PlayStation for 9 of the last 10 years. With that context and the fact that revenue from Call of Duty does help to fund first-party PlayStation studios, the charged language used by Sony is more understandable. And we're going to get into the next one because it all kind of ties in, because Microsoft has a counterpunch. If you want to read the little title real quick, Zach.
Microsoft claims EA is PlayStation's biggest third-party publisher, not Activision.
So Microsoft has revealed during its response to the UK CMA that Electronic Arts is the biggest third-party publisher for PlayStation, not Activision. According to the Xbox console maker, Activision ranks 5th behind EA, Ubisoft, Take-Two Interactive, and Sony itself. Quote, Sony has 286 games which are exclusive to PlayStation. Microsoft commented, adding that Sony keeps its first-party titles almost entirely exclusive to PlayStation. As example, it named God of War, Spider-Man, and The Last of Us. So it's interesting that Activision ranks 5th in that ranking, and Ubisoft or EA is the number 1 third-party publisher, which, in all fairness, is true, because while Call of Duty is the best game from Activision Blizzard that might do the best, Activision Blizzard as a company does not, that could track, because one game does not mean the company overall does the best on PlayStation, you know?
True.
So go ahead.
Like, you think about it, like EA, most of the titles are sports and racing games.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, okay, they do really well on there. I'm trying to think of any other EA games.
Well, especially around Christmas time, what are you going to buy your kids? Sports and racing games.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of like subjective, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, EA like makes the sports and racing games. Ubisoft, big open world titles, whatever.
Yeah. Like your Far Cry's, your Division.
Yeah, Take-Two, like sports.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Grand Theft Auto.
Like, but that doesn't. Okay, when Sony is like, it's going to cause the floor closure of Sony.
Yeah, they're being really dramatic. That's like, oh, I'm like, bro, like y'all make money hand over fist on those exclusives. Don't even.
It's like, yeah, would it hurt? Would it make you be more cautious on what you produce? Yeah, I 100% think that. I don't think it's going to kill Sony if they go through this and everything.
But, it's just like, how much more petty can Sony be? It's like, they have told you now, granted, let me just throw this out here. Y'all are, because we talked about how Jim Ryan supposedly opened his big mouth and said, yeah, I don't want your deal. I just want to not make your acquisition happen. I'm just like, bro, like, why would you admit this? Like, thank you for being honest, but why would you say that in a room where press is happening, that someone could, report on this? And it's like, you're worried that they're going to do this. Well, if you keep, poking the bear, they're going to do it. That's like saying, it's like, oh, if I poke the sleeping bear, he's going to maul me. Well, of course, you big dummy, because you keep poking him. Like, I don't know. Like, y'all are going to create the, like, it's sort of like, again, we talk about how, in like The Flash, like that one season where he saw, this future happening, and he's like, I'm going to do everything I can to prevent it. And it's those actions that lead to that future. It's like, Sony is worried about this happening. Well, it's like, if you keep, stop trying to, undercut Microsoft at every turn, they're going to say, you know what? Our deal went through, but you know what we're going to do? We're going to screw you guys over. That thing you were worried about is going to happen.
Yeah. If you poke the bear, says Amy. Yeah, I agree 100%. Like, I feel like, there's a lot here where it's not necessarily like yes, Microsoft has, allowed Bethesda to, keep their contracts and all that, because they're not stupid. Yeah. They don't want to get sued over being petty and everything. Yeah. But I do want to, like, I know this is in the PlayStation Quickies. We did have the head of Arcane of the Redfall development and everything. Yeah. Trying to find this. Where is it?
Saying that there was a PS5 version that was scrapped of Redfall.
Yeah, it was like just focus on Xbox, PC, and Game Pass.
I know. And I'm sure, like, Phil Spencer was like, shut up. Do not give them ammo, you idiot.
Yeah, I was just like...
Do not justify their worries.
I was like, that's exactly what Jim Ryan is like, trying to point out and everything. And then it's like the head of the studio is like,
Yeah.
well, this is what we got told. And I'm like, okay, next week we're clearly going to be talking about that being entered into this complaint.
Oh yeah. Next week, Phil Spencer's going to release an article walking that back. And if it was like somebody like a QA tester for that was at Arcane doing Redfall, like early access or whatever, that said this, it's like, oh, you could just sweep that under the rug. He misheard or whatever. But the director coming out, and it's like, again, Phil Spencer's like, he's like Mrs. Puff in like the sweating meme is like, oh, Neptune.
So like, I just want this to be done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, do I want Bobby Kotick to still be there? No. Do I want Microsoft to own them at this point? Like,
yes.
I don't even know. I don't even know what I want anymore on this. It's like, it's like mom and dad fighting, and it's just like, please just stop.
Can we just all get along?
You know what I mean? Like, put Shuhei in charge. Let's get this over with.
Deku's in the background. Stop fighting, you guys! And tears rolling down his face.
Amy says, "You know what really helps when people shut their mouths and do their jobs." Phil Spencer
where's the Rock? Know your role and shut your mouth.
Phil Spencer walks into Arcane tomorrow and like kicks him in the teeth. We're like, "What did you say?"
He's like, "Talk to you for a minute."
That would be Jim Ryan. Phil Spencer would just like, "Hey man, don't do that again." That would be it.
I know.
You know what I mean? Unless there's like a dark side of Phil Spencer we don't know.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure after that comment, he's like, "You want to keep being director?"
Shut
your mouth.
Oh, let's jump into the PlayStation quickies, Derek.
So starting off, newly published Sony patent shows it is exploring avenues to trade and use NFTs across platforms. Microsoft says 10 years is sufficient for Sony to work on Call of Duty alternatives. Deviation Games' PlayStation exclusive project could feature solo and co-op modes. Bloober Team is close to finishing Silent Hill 2 remake. Microsoft scrapped a PS5 version of Redfall, says Arcane director. Final Fantasy 16 will last players 70 to 80 hours for 100% completion. Also, Final Fantasy 16 gameplay clip reveals Canine Companion in action. Ashley Johnson was blown away by Bella Ramsey in the Last of Us HBO performance. That's the voice actor for Ellie in the game, FYI. The Last of Us Season 2 is not expected until late 2024 or early 2025. Some Spider-Man news. Marvel Spider-Man 2 and Wolverine reportedly features new dialogue tech. Venom voice actor Tony Todd pinned September 2023 for Marvel Spider-Man 2 launch. And then lastly, Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores pre-order trailer is live, and we watch that video now.
All right, here we go.
Nope, no sound. There we go.
This looks like the trailer that they showed.
Yeah, no.
Are we getting more of this?
Oh.
Okay, I kind of like that.
Yeah. Oh. I can't wait.
There you go. There you go.
Can't wait to get back into that world.
Now, Derek, that means we're getting Burning Shores, and then right after that, we're getting Jedi Survivor.
Oh my gosh. Literally 9 days apart.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. Which that means, we just got to like bang out the Burning Shores DLC to be able to get into Jedi Survivor.
You can bang it out. I'm going to take my time with it, and then I'll probably have to bounce back and forth between Survivor and Burning Shores.
Yeah. I'll just make it happen. Monarch says, and I still haven't played these yet. You need to, man. Horizon Forbidden West is on PC on Epic Games Store.
No, just Zero Dawn. Forbidden West isn't on PC.
The one that's first.
The first, yeah.
That one. That one
Yeah.
is out. Is on.
Use that
on
creator code.
Yeah, use that creator code.
The Venom, like Tony Todd even walked it back. He's like, you know what? I've been so tired. Maybe I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. I'm done saying Spider-Man 2 stuff, and I'm like, smart move, my man.
Yeah, like breaking
but-
those NDAs, bro.
Yeah, I know. Especially from Sony, they're like, both Sony and Microsoft have people like, you shut your mouth.
I'm like, do you think it's September? Like,
well, you know,
hearing
I did
this,
voice my concern. I did voice my concern to you when Starfield got a release date. I'm like, does Spider-Man have the gall to launch in the same month? Because the first one did.
Yeah.
In September. So, do they have the gall to go toe to toe with Starfield? I don't know. I'm kind of with you. Like that October, November release window seems better, but it wouldn't surprise because Starfield's September 6th. So it would not surprise me if the end of September, just a few week time period, Sony's like, we'll go with the same month, but we'll give you a few weeks in between Starfield and us before you play it. And plus it's exclusives, like, have the battle of the NPD wars,
Yeah. Like I'm looking at Miles Morales. It came out in November 12th, 2020.
But that was the launch for PS5.
Yeah. I don't know. Like if it is like it gives more qualms to it possibly being September now that he's talking about it and everything, but it will be late September, I think, at this point.
Yeah. It has to be, because I don't think they want to. Now, if Sony wanted to really flex and use like, you know what? Y'all might be starting your come up, but we're still the big dogs. We're gonna see when we're gonna put it on the same day as Starfield. That would be a bold move. I don't think they would.
No,
but
the reason why, unless this whole Activision Blizzard thing wraps up before then, it would prove Microsoft's point that Sony is the dominant player here, and that them buying Activision is not that big of a deal if they could literally put out the same time and squash Starfield with Spider-Man.
Exactly.
Like it's playing with fire. Like if I was Sony right now and it's like, okay, we're in the middle of this. It's like, okay, they put out a release date for Starfield. We're trying to look like we need Activision Blizzard to be on its own. I would move that thing a month away from Starfield just to look like I'm not competing.
Right, exactly.
That's just me. That's just me. So, but only time will tell.
Exactly. And Jim Ryan is his own man, so Yeah.
Now the quick hits are one of my favorite parts of the show, and they're brought to you by our wonderful patrons. You become part of the ship, part of the exclusive crew by going over to patreon.com/nerdcave, going over there, picking the spot on the crew list is the best way to support us. It helps us make awesome content. It helps us make all the stuff that we do here, and we appreciate everybody that is supporting us and putting into what we're doing here. So if you go over there,
and if you want to see us do new content, like you want to see us do that new anime show, get your friends to jump on in.
Yeah, and you'll be. I haven't finished watching all the way through our review, but Carter's edited our God of War review. But he has also edited down the Nerd versus Nerd competition we did into like a nice 8-minute video.
Nice.
From like the 4-hour-long live stream. So
where the king wins, like the king of the nerds.
Sorry, something happened with the
sure.
audio right then. I don't know what happened. But all of that will be exclusively over on Patreon first. Timed exclusive. So go over there, enjoy it, check all the good stuff out. But with all that being said, let's get into the Patreon quick hits, Derek.
So starting off, WWE 2K23 Datamine reveals action figure version of John Cena. Interesting. 4J Studios and 5 other anonymous studios are cited by the UK's CMA as being in favor of Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard. An EU regulator has extended the deadline for its decision on Microsoft's planned Activision buyout. XCOM director wants to open a new studio, but likely won't make turn-based strategy games. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League core game won't change despite rumored delay. Atari acquires Berserk, Frenzy, and 10 more classic arcade properties, but that's not all. If you Atari, like a phoenix from the ashes, Night Dive Studios is being acquired by Atari. So it's like Atari's like saying, if Valve wants to get back in the game, why can't we? Sea of Stars is coming to Xbox consoles on August 29th. Persona 5 The Phantom X is a new free-to-play mobile spin-off, and there's all the microtransactions going cha-ching. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre game is being released on August 18th, with a technical test coming May 25th. Hyperkin's Xbox 360 style controller gets a June 6th release date on Xbox Series X and S and will be $50 and will be in the colors will include black, white, pink, and red. Steam Deck receives custom startup feature as it's discounted for the first time ever. Far Cry 5 gets 60 FPS patch on current gen consoles to celebrate 5th anniversary. It's really weird that they're doing that when Far Cry 6 exists, you know? Just saying. Lance Reddick has passed away at the age of 60. Rest in peace. I know he was on John Wick and The Wire, some famed TV and movies, but he's also commonly known as Silence for the Horizon franchise, and he's one of the 3 core guardians.
Commander Zala.
Yes, thank you. And Destiny. Speaking of that, Hellboy, the Web of Weird, will be one of Lance Reddick's final performances. You can also assume Burning Shores will be that as well. King and Lars Alexanderson have been revealed for Tekken 8. Lego 2K Drive images surface online, backing up previous reports of 2K securing the Lego license. Zack Snyder says his upcoming movie, Rebel Moon, is getting a ridiculous scale RPG. Sonic Frontiers receives first 2023 content update, Sights, Sounds, and Speed, which is out now. Following that, Sonic Origins Plus reportedly out in June and includes 12 emulated Sonic Game Gear games. Respawn Entertainment opens new studio devoted to Apex Legends development. Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes was originally an experiment leading to episodic games. CD Projekt Red could be restarting development on its multiplayer Witcher game, codename Project Sirius. Elden Ring stats reveal players have initiated nearly 6 billion, with a B, boss battles since launch. Crash Team Rumble gets a June 20th release date, with a beta happening from April 20th to the 24th. Blizzard claims Diablo 4's launch won't be plagued by beta's connectivity issues. Phil Spencer reaffirms plans to open Xbox Digital Store on mobile. EA will delist Battlefield 1943 and Battlefield Bad Company 1 and 2 from digital storefronts at the end of April. Remedy confirms Alan Wake 2 will be, quote, ready for launch this year. Gears of War Netflix movie gets Doctor Strange and Dune scribe John Spates as its writer. New Nintendo Switch Online update includes Kirby's Dream Land 2 and Burger Time Deluxe for the Game Boy, Side Pocket for the SNES, and Xevious from the NES. Little Nightmares dev Tarsier Studios teases its new project. The Lords of the Fallen technical showcase goes into detail on how Unreal Engine 5 has enhanced visuals and development. Ninja Theory showcases impressive facial animation and new Senua's Saga Hellblade 2 teaser. Just give us a release date already. Elden Ring wins Game of the Year at GDC. In a news that you never thought you would hear again, GameStop posts its first profitable quarter in 2 years. If it said year, I would be impressed, but quarter, okay, cool. Redfall dev is working on reversing its always online requirement.
Eventually GameStop's gonna die. You know what I mean?
I'm about to say, please, just, Alex Devin talked about, how he got recently hounded by a guy to do trade-ins, like trading in his laptop that he get like over $100, and he's like, dude, I paid like 20 something. It gives like for 1,300 resale, and he's like, the dude was talking down to him like, man, you're an idiot if you don't take this deal. And it's like, bro, is this where we've gotten to, where they're pretty much like demeaning you for trade-ins? Yeah, exactly. Like, dude, give me your trade-ins. And it's like, bro, like, how? Just cut the cord already, please.
Murdoch has a question about GameStop. He said, okay, so how will collector copies get distributed without GameStop? Mail? ? What do you
Like,
think?
what do you mean collector copies?
Like the legendary like versions of games, like
Oh, like the super
yeah,
deluxe ultimate
the
edition
big
for like $500.
yeah. I think Amazon. I think
Yeah,
Amazon
I'll
is the
say
way.
Amazon's been taking it over, and like I know, like before I left there, like especially during COVID, because they couldn't promise like collector's editions to come in store because a lot of stores were still doing curbside well into like almost into fall 2020 until the new consoles had to come out. They were doing a lot of their collectors like online only, and like I know I kind of got upset. Now, granted, how the game turned out, I'm kind of glad, but I kind of was wanting the Halo Infinite special edition Series X, and it came and went without any repertoire. Like they made an announcement after the ad had already shut off online, and I'm like, I don't have the money, and you took it away already. Like, what's the point?
Yeah.
And so that's that's pretty much where they've tried to compete with Amazon for online distribution. So I mean, Amazon's everyone pre-orders from Amazon just as much as GameStop, if not more. So I mean, there's that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people are going digital, majority and
yeah.
everything, but like the way that like collector's editions have gone over the last 10 years,
Oh
like,
yeah.
they've gotten so bad. Like it's not even worth like the extra money.
Yeah, and it's also like, especially for third parties. Third parties have gotten terrible. Like I remember the Doom 2016 collector's edition. It was just one of the creatures on event, and it was like $130. I'm like, paying that for that crap. Like,
Yeah.
the statue's cool, but it can barely light up and whatnot. Now the Sony collector's editions still are pretty good. Like you still
Yeah,
get
yeah.
good bang for your buck type of thing. Like the God of War and the Horizon Forbidden West collector's editions are pretty huge, So, but
Yeah.
that's about it. Other than that, like most collector's, especially Ubisoft's collector's editions, are trash.
Yeah, well, like first party is a little bit different. Like, if
Yeah,
your Jotun, Jotun
yeah, the
one
Jotnar edition.
is missing, it's not me.
Yeah,
It's not me. I didn't take it.
yeah,
Yeah, or your big
fair.
elephant, you know what I mean?
yeah. The Regala edition.
Yeah, that wasn't me. That was Murdoch. Murdoch stole it all. Stole it all. But yeah, like I think GameStop. Yeah, they might have a good quarter, but will they have a good year? That's where it really comes down to.
Yeah.
And
you have a good year at the end of your fiscal year, but then you're still going to close like another 200 to 300 stores.
yeah, and it's like also it's thinking like how many people are they not paying what they should, giving them the hours that they should, and everything. It's just like, yeah.
And I saw a Facebook thing, and like it was like their version of TikTok or whatever, not that long ago, or was it on YouTube? One of them, their shorts, and it wasn't like a couple years thing. It was like a couple months ago thing. Where it's like, what's it like being a GameStop manager these days? It's like everything's on clearance, no one's here because everyone buys digital, and the employee layoffs are starting. I'm like, oh boy,
Yeah.
and here it goes.
Yeah. So it's happening.
Yeah.
One thing that we didn't talk about, I just wanted to bring up before we go into what you saw that was cool this week, was something that Tim Geddes was talking about on Kind of Funny Games Daily today, was the that Paramount has announced that there's going to be a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles The Last Ronin game that is taking its cues from God of War. Like, so it's going to be very like visceral, but it's like the storytelling is going to be like the big part of it. And if you don't know anything about The Last Ronin, it's like there's only one turtle that's left alive, and you don't know who it is. Like he wears like a black bandana or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And he uses all four weapons.
Right.
But it's like I never read it, but it's like a really, really good story. So like they're taking their cues from God of War, and a lot of people right now are taking cues from God of War, but I think it's a really good way to, it's not open world, but it's big enough to explore. The story is the focus. The gameplay is, fleshed out really well, but it's not like so far out there it doesn't make sense. So I that sounds cool. Like, yeah, like Shredder's Revenge was fun when we did like the 4 or 5 people playing it at a time and everything. But it's like that's not my game. But that sounds like my game. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I mean, you throw God. I mean, if the only thing that would have, if you had said, "Oh, we're taking cues from God of War, we're taking cues from Ghost of Tsushima," Zach would have been in from the get go.
Yeah. So like it can only get better from there. So I'm really, really excited about that. But Derek, cue up this last segment for us for tonight.
Yeah, we haven't done this in a few weeks. Granted, obviously I didn't include one last week. But 2 weeks ago, I fumbled the bag. I'll be honest with you. Fumbled the bag and forgot about the video. But you could have said the Mario trailer was the coolest thing we saw this week. But, I didn't make it official. But we are bringing it back. The coolest thing I saw this week, just because I was thinking about what to do. What should I do? Like, while I was making the doc yesterday, what should I include? And this little nugget drops. We have a Star Wars Jedi Survivor story trailer. Zach, cue that bad boy up.
That was one of the
a long 5 years.
Has like the double staff thing.
Yeah. Man, I didn't know that was that big of a time jump. I knew it was like a few years.
Yeah, there's a book in between all the first and the second game.
Fear and mistrust rule the galaxy.
Uh-oh.
Cal, look into the fire. It will warm you, keep you company.
Man,
But left,
look at all Grease.
Mm-hmm.
it will consume everything.
Oh,
Ooh.
There is only ash.
How could you?
that
Oh,
looks like a bounty hunter.
dang.
Yeah.
Oh, we get to see her fight too.
Feel beyond her grasp. But I think we
Oh.
somewhere the Empire can't reach us.
Imagine. No more looking over your shoulder.
A place that's worth fighting for. No matter the cost.
Oh, dang. Oh, man. Dang, that looks so good, dude.
It
Like-
does.
like-
I can't, like, just the sheer scale of it looks so much more impressive. It's like the jump from Plague Tale Innocence to Requiem.
Yeah, 100%. I would agree. Like it looks like we're getting, combat improvements, graphical improvements, of course, and everything, but it looks like we're also fleshing out story, and being able to do combos and everything. Like that's going to be so cool. Man, I can't wait. Like literally April 19th, Burning Shores, and then right after that, some Jedi Survivor and everything. But man,
So I have questions for you. Watch, because
yes.
this is my first time watching this.
same.
Well, first off, are you caught up on Mandalorian or no?
No, I'm one episode behind.
Okay, never mind. So that nixes that question. But well, it nixes I won't say who it is, but because it spoils it. But do you think, because that city they keep showing it, do you think, because I'm playing through the one, I'm on Kashyyyk now in Jedi Fallen Order. We go back to a planet we know. Do you think that is Coruscant we see in those the bustling city?
That's what it looks like. It looks like Coruscant.
Yeah, so that would be cool. Also, who do you think, because it's like that guy who throws the stormtrooper helmet at Cal? Do you think that's like a Jedi that we'll see that hasn't been shown yet? Because I have my theory, but since you haven't watched the latest episode, I'm not going to say who.
Yeah.
Okay. So, do you think it's someone we haven't seen yet, or someone we just, because if they're teasing it, it's like they don't it's like someone that will know. You know what I'm saying? So, do you think will be someone brand new, or do you? Because I don't think they would not show the face if it was someone we knew that they were planning to unveil.
Yeah, but I think it's bigger to see it in the game, even if it is somebody that we know or whatever. Like they might not be in the game universe yet, or what, like in this side of it, but like it being, and it's like somebody we've seen before. Maybe Quinlan Voss. Who knows?
Maybe. The mild spoilers for Obi-Wan Kenobi if you haven't watched that yet. It's like they did name drop him.
So I don't know, man. I'm excited for it. One of the things that I'm going to do before the game comes out is I'm going to read the book that is like spanning the time between the first game and the second game and everything.
Yeah.
So that's on my list of, because I've got to like fly to Chicago, so I'm going to be like reading all of that and everything. So
also just on the Cal Kestis in live action or at least an animated property win. You know what I mean? Like, because this is canon. When are you going to actually? Because all right, first of all, what do you think is more likely? He shows up in like an animated show, or he shows up in live action?
I feel animated is easier, but we're not getting any animated right now. So
like Bad Batch, but I think that's a bad way to include him in there.
I would
it's like I don't know. Like you could age him up, and he could be in the Ahsoka show.
Yeah,
but
I would love for him to get his own show. Like he's a great actor and everything. It would be. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. We'll see. Only time will tell.
Only time will tell. Well, guys, that is it for this episode. We hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to hit that like button and come back next week where we talk about all the video game news that you need to know. I'm excited because, guys, it just keeps coming each and every week. This has been
stop coming.
This has been Zach
and Drictex the Tradlaxian
with his
Airing
Yambo
arms and treats.
Guys, we love you. We'll see you next time. Y'all have a week.